Okay. Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen, to another wonderful night with the lovely ladies of I Expect Progress. On this evening, we have two fine specimens on our panel. My brothers from the what they used to say, from the old railroad tracks back in the days. My boys, Dwayne and Daquan, welcome. We welcome you and we thank you for joining us this evening. It is a delight to see Black men striving for greatness in this day and time. And it is just a breath of fresh air to have you guys on tonight. Miss Johnson said, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Miss Nellie. And hello to our faithful viewers. Okay. So tonight we will be having these great gentlemen on, the young, Black, and educated male educators. This is the male edition. I know y'all get tired of seeing our faces, so we wanted to spice it up a bit tonight for you. I'm gonna go ahead and let them introduce themselves. Dwayne, your box is already highlighted, so I'm gonna let Dwayne go ahead and go on.
Okay, my name is Dwayne Brooks. I'm from Plymouth, North Carolina. As she stated, we've known each other forever. So this is definitely a pleasure for me to support you and what you all have going on. I graduated from Elizabeth City State University with a BS in mathematics and computer science. And I graduated from St. Leo University with an MBA. I taught, well, I guess we'll get into that a little later. But yeah, I'm a part of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Um, I think, yeah, that's about it. I think that's a good little, starting point. I don't want to bore you all to get to death.
You ain't gonna bore nobody.
Yeah, man. I could ramble, so I'm gonna try to keep it short.
It's okay. It's okay. That's what we do. Go ahead, bro. That's my twin, y'all.
What's up, y'all? I am Daquan Simmons. I also am from Plymouth, North Carolina. I graduated from Elizabeth City State with a bachelor's in English. I attended Trinity University in Washington, D.C., where I got my Master of Science in School Administration. I taught, 4 years in Plymouth. I taught 2 years in Prince George County, Duval High School. Shout out to them. And now I'm teaching at Potomac High School in Dumfries, Virginia. And I think I'm in my eighth or ninth year teaching. So yeah, I'm coming around the corner as well. So that's it for me for right now.
Awesome job. They so humble. These men from the roots where we came. You know what I'm saying? When you see people that you play with, you joke with, and you have little nicknames for each other, to see yourselves as adults and to see these gentlemen, I'm so proud of them because we have came a long way from turning up at the visitor center in P-Town, going to the Burger King and letting loose, and going to the Elks Lodge in Roper. Man,
Don't forget about Gear Up.
man, get up. Do you know I chest all picture and I won't go and share it because I ain't want nobody to say where she at. I won't go and do that to myself. I won't go and do that to myself because I would have been embarrassed. So I said, no, I ain't gonna do that. But like I said, I just thank you guys for joining us on this evening. As a lot of our viewers know, we have our beautiful and lovely ladies on this evening. We have the lovely Joy, the lovely Lorena, and the lovely Charity. Now, tonight, we're going to sit back and, of course, we're going to have some questions so that we could just open up your mind so that you'll know exactly what's going on this evening. We are going to be discussing, and I've already provided the questions to my young men and all the things that we're going to be talking about. Just ain't coming up. And we're going to be first starting off with your experience. So, Daquan, let's start with you. Your experience, your years in your position in the educational field, which I think you already covered that, right?
I can talk a little bit more too.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so I didn't tell my subject. I'm teaching English. I've taught every grade level, 9th, 10th, 11, and 12. Right now I'm doing 9 and 10. I enjoy like really teaching freshmen, they coming in, and I enjoy teaching seniors as they're kind of exiting out. So I kind of get the best of both worlds. When I was in North Carolina, I did have a chance to teach like 10th and 11th, but 9th and 12th, I think would be like my pride and joy. I will say when I was teaching in Prince George County, I had the opportunity to teach journalism for the first time. That was pretty cool. And I know you probably get all you guys are educated, so I really haven't ran into a lot of definitely African American male teachers as far as teaching English, and I haven't met a lot of. I mean, I'm just kind of the woman told me one time I was like the cream of the crop because it's like you really don't get a English teacher that African American English teacher. So I enjoy what I do right now. I'm actually with this being my 9th year teaching, I'm working on a couple of things. I think I'm ready to come out the classroom eventually. So I'm in a little battle, because I do enjoy the classroom. I'm trying to figure out, do I really want to give up the classroom to step outside the classroom? So, it's going pretty good. I enjoy where I'm at right now. Really nice school. Kids are just like, everywhere else. They need a little guidance, they need mentors. They need more people like, me and Dwayne to, encourage them. So, I mean, I do a good job, and, I'm only getting better. 9 years, 10 more, I might, consider myself like a veteran English teacher. So, yeah, that's it for now.
Well, really, in the educational field, they say if you make it past 3 years, honey, you're a vet already. Isn't that sad? It's funny, but it's sad. Because at 3 years, your first year, I don't know about y'all, but I was like a chicken with my head cut off. I was like, what in the world Columbia Middle School got going on? Let me teach children. They trust me to educate these children. Holy Lord Jesus, what do they want me to do? And then my second year, I was like, okay, I think I got this vibe. Then my third year, honey, I think I did go up in there a whole nother person. I was a little bit of Miss Clark up in there, hitting some desks and walking through the hallway with my heels stepping. They knew what it was when I came down them hallways. So I understand what you're saying. You up there in the nines, bro. I'm not there yet. I pray that I make it there yet. I pray I don't make it on nobody's news station where somebody done turned the whole situation upside down, because you know how kids are today. But anyway, that's another topic. Dwayne, come on, share with us, my brother, about your experiences and your years in your position and your educational field. I also want you to touch base now or later on, what you're working on.
Okay, so me and Daquan, we actually started the same year. So I taught high school mathematics for 3 years. I was able to teach all grade levels. Like Daquan said, I enjoyed teaching the ninth graders because, of course, they were kind of misunderstood. They were still trying to figure out who they were when they got to high school. That's the point where you can go one or two ways, and if you don't have the right, I guess, teacher or mentor, it could kind of get pushed to the wrong direction, a little quick. We all kind of experienced that as we grew up, I'm sure. Around my second year, I started teaching STEM as well. So I was teaching math and STEM. They started a STEM program at Plymouth High School, which is now Washington County High School. And I had the privilege of being the first instructor in that classroom. And that was very cool because it was a lot of hands-on, a lot of connecting, what we were teaching to actual careers. And it was it was refreshing, definitely for a small school like Plymouth High School to, jump out there and really give kids something that they can connect to actual career. So I enjoyed that. I will say those years, I only taught 3 years, but those 3 years, I think, like, I know we're talking about the shortage of male teachers. I think we had like a real good system going. I was in math. Mr. Simmons was in English. We had Mike Bell in science. We had William Hunt in PE. So we had like male figures in each department, and I thought that was pretty cool and of course pretty rare. But like we were of course leaned on for a lot of other things outside of teaching. But it was fun. Like I really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. It was a short stint because of course, you know, God has other plans for you. Sometimes, you know, they say you want to tell God a joke, tell me your plan. So he had other plans for me. So, you know, I kind of pivoted and explored other avenues afterwards. But like I said, those 3 years were definitely, shoot, some of my best 3 years of work, honestly.
Wow. And I feel you with that. And even though that you've done changed careers, you're still in contact with the students. And that is very important. That's something that's hard to shake. Even now that I've moved to Virginia, it's still something about my kids back down there in Columbia. I love them children. And if they ever need me, if they call me, Miss Nola, honey, okay, let me see what y'all want. Let me get on the meet with y'all. I mean, I try so hard to still stay connected, because when you disconnect from a child, especially after they've made that connection, that's trauma. That's traumatic to a child, because they see something in you that other people don't see. Every child sees something different in every educator. So I can only imagine the great resources that you guys were able to be in the classroom amongst children that were in those single parent homes with just a mom or just a grandma. So I know that was tough. It was tough for me. And they had mamas. So I can only imagine, growing up in a household, you ain't got no daddy, but you come into school and you meet these cool dudes right here, and you like, man, you can teach me something. You carry yourself in a certain type of way. I want to be like that. It's awesome. So, Dwayne, did you always know that you wanted to be a teacher? What inspired you to go down that career path?
So when I went to school, honestly, I just knew I was good with numbers. So I chose to major in math, and I didn't know what you could really do with that math degree. So I started off with a math as my major, and then I minored in secondary education. So I actually started off on the path to become a teacher. But when I got to college, I started exploring, you know, other classes. So I had
Right.
to start taking like programming classes with math, and that was my first introduction into computer science. So once I got a little taste of that, I kind of pivoted and I changed my minor to computer science. And then I started getting in deep a little more, started doing some internships and got some real good experiences. And I ended up double majoring. So I
Right.
started on the path to teach, but I veered off. But again, that God does what He does.
Yes, it is.
Um, so when I graduated, I had my internship, and I was in the Maryland area. I had an internship with NASA, and it was like a great experience. And us coming from small towns, man, it's hard to just take that leap when you
Yeah.
don't really have the resources. So, like, I had opportunity to kind of stay in the Maryland area when I first graduated, but I wasn't ready. So I went to Washington County I applied for a technology position, and I went to the Board of Education to check on my application for the technology position. As soon as I walked in and they looked at my resume and they seen I had a math background, they pretty much pushed me directly into the to the math teaching position.
Hmm.
And that was again, it was a great, like it happened randomly. It wasn't the traditional route, but it was definitely what I needed. Really needed that for sure. But yeah, so that's how I ended up. I started on that path, veered off, ended up back on that path. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. What, honey, and that's how it is in the country. I miss it, because in Turl County, when my employee at the time was like, they got an opening. I was like, yeah, but I ain't really want to do that. But she had a connection with the Board of Education. And so when I applied, they were like, oh yeah, because you're great with kids. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. We gotta have you. Oh my God. Why not? We're crazy. And I'm like, yeah, y'all say that right now. When I left, I don't think that's what they said. But anywho, hey, it is what it is. Everything happens for a reason. Because I really thought they were going to turn me down and I just go back to my job because I was comfortable. But sometimes when we get comfortable, we got to be moved. And sometimes we ain't gonna move. And God is like, you so stubborn. Let me just push you. Sometimes God's gonna give you a push, and it depends on you how you take that push. So you took that push, and look at you. You're doing great things. All right, Daquan. So did you always want to become a teacher? Because you ain't never told me you want to become a teacher.
Nah, well, I had never planned to be a teacher, but I started taking some teaching courses when I was at Elizabeth City State. I was really trying to get a work study job. All right. And this is my story, how I really got into it. But I was working a work study job. I was trying to get work study. And I happened to run into this lady from Plymouth. Her name was Miss oh man, what's Bobby mom? How I forget, Miss Claggin, Miss Alice Claggin. So I walked in, somebody told me like this, she's from Plymouth, go see her. I walked in one day, she was just like, what's your major? And she was in charge of the laboratory school on campus. So she had like all the pre-K and kindergarten kids. Now I wasn't feeling the job, but she said, she like, look, Daquan, you come, all I need you to do is pick up the mats, lay their lunch down for them, pick their lunch plates up, and you can work with me. So I started to go over there and volunteer with her for maybe 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, she was like, look, man, I need a man in the building. I'm surrounded by females. I will pay you this much, blah, blah, blah. Just come by every day. So I started going by. I was just kind of in and out, picking up the carts, unpacking their lunch from them. And then all of a sudden she was like, well, we kind of need you to, start reading to the kids a little bit. We need you to work with them a little bit. And I'm like, man, I came over here for work study. I'm trying to stop, do my job, go to the caf, hang out a little bit. So I ended up, I kept going, and eventually like, well, what you want the kids to call you? So I'm reading to the kids the first time. I'm like, look, y'all can just call me Mr. Daquan. And she was like, she looked at all the ladies in the village just looked at it, and it was like, I'm like, all right, Mr. Daquan. She like, Daquan, tell them to call you Mr. Simmons. So I said, all right, y'all, well, I'm Mr. Simmons. And I walked out. I read my book, packed their lunch, left out. And the next day when I went back, the kids were like, hey, Mr. Simmons. And I was just kind of amazed. I'm like, well, that kind of sound all right, Mr. Simmons. I never thought of myself as being, Mr. Simmons. So I started going over there every day. And like I said, God blessed me. I had the opportunity to start mentoring a little bit. I did the Model Scholars program at Elizabeth City, where I mentor kids that were basically retention students, just trying to get in and keep their grades above average. So I got in, I started working with them. I did that for 5 years. And then I got another blessing. I started working at the writing lab on campus. That was new when we were just about to leave. It was the QAP writing lab. So I had the chance to start reading over papers. And mind you, in my mind, I'm not processing that really at the moment. I'm really being a teacher. I'm thinking I'm working my work study. This job paying $10 an hour, this paying 15. And when I started to slow down, when I started doing my resume, I'm like, wow, for real, I got really the background to kind of hop out there and teach. And then we got a couple phone calls from, who called me? Maybe it was like Miss Gallup, or someone called me and like, well, we got an English position open. We haven't had a Black English teacher male in 30, 40 years, 50 years maybe. Would you be interested in the position? I applied. I stayed in Elizabeth City my first year. I kind of drove back and forth, but I was still mentoring. I was still, I was still doing all the things that I love to do. So like I said, that's how I came into it. And at that moment, I just realized I also had a professor that I used to give a hard time. And he kind of got mad at me one day in class. His name was Mr. Howard. I want to say his name was Mr. Howard. And I had him mad one day because I like to joke in class a little bit. I joked on this cowboy hat. He wore a cowboy hat and cowboy boots to class. And I said, hey, Mr. Howard. I said, Mr. Howard, boy, you fresh today, boy. He said, Mr. Simmons, are you being facetious? I said, I didn't know what the word meant. I was like, no, Mr. Howard, my granddad loved cowboy boots. My granddad wear cowboy hats. He was like, Mr. Simmons, one day you're going to be a principal. And I laughed it off and I joked. And every day that he saw me, he was like, you're going to be a principal. Everything you're doing is going to come back to you. And I'm like, nah, ain't no way. And then as soon as I started teaching my first year, I'm like, wow. I get my class clowns. I'm like, wow, was that really me? I was like 21 years old in college, still trying to be a class clown. Yep. So I realized, I kind of came into who I was supposed to be. And like I said, I fell in love with it from day one. I thought about, switching jobs at sometime in my life. But like I said, when I realized the impact that I was having, I was just like, man, let me just keep doing what I'm doing. I got kids right now that's, graduating from Elizabeth City, graduating from A&T. I'm up here working. I got kids going to, Morgan State and Bowie State. So it's just amazing to be, to switch from Plymouth, go to Maryland, come back to Virginia, and I'm still doing, the same kind of thing. And I'm still, it's amazing that, I went from not caring, thinking about work study to like actually being a highly effective teacher. At this point, I just got my last evaluation. They marked me as highly effective for my first time ever. They gave me a hard time about it, but I got highly effective this year. So yeah, hopefully, I can keep moving forward. Yeah, I am ready to be a principal, vice principal, maybe. But like I said, I don't want to lose my touch with the classroom. So yeah, that's how I became Mr. Simmons.
Awesome. Awesome. Man, you really, it took me back because I remember when I was a class clown and now as a teacher, those are the ones that irritate me. I'd be like, oh my God. And I'd be saying to myself, is this what I used to do to all those teachers all those years? This is karma. I mean, I'd be telling myself, like, this is what you did. And I apologized to one of my teachers, Miss Craddock, not too long ago when she was like, yeah, ninth grade, you were, I don't know the term she used, but she said I was something else. I already knew what that meant because I put that woman through pure T hell. I know I did. So just to see, for her to see me now as who I am, I know she's proud, but then I'm thinking like, ooh, these children I got right now, ooh, I got a lot of work cut out for me. Just being a sped teacher, trying to get them socially where they need to be. So, whoo, child, that's a lot right there, right? How would you describe, Dwayne, how would you describe your teaching philosophy? We're going back to teacher education prep papers.
Yeah. Now, I feel like you have to meet students where they are, but you also have to see the potential in them. Because, when you're young, you don't, sometimes you just don't have the foresight to, understand like the decisions you make right now really do have like power and really can, determine like where you go from here. Uh, so I used to always just try to meet students where they were, like as far as understanding their situations, but at the same time, not making excuses for students because we all came from humble beginnings, and when you get in this world, no one really asks you about your, where you came from. When in the working world, no one had asked you like, did you come up in a single parent household? Like, like were you, responsible for your younger like cousins or siblings? Like no one really asked you that type of stuff. But us, of course, coming from those type of beginnings, we understood it, we knew what it was, but so you want to meet them where they are, but at the same time, you can't make excuses for the young people because they don't need you to, to be that person. They need you to see, their potential. And working with math, every kid probably by third grade, fourth grade, somebody told them that math isn't for them, or they're, you're not going to be good at math, or this just isn't your subject. So you're now dealing with, those type of anxieties that, that they, sure, that's trauma in a sense. You're dealing with that type of trauma at high school where they were told they're not good at, math in third grade, and they believed it. And then when you get them and they have those aha moments, it's like, wow, man, if I, I probably could have been real good at math if I just would have tried, but I believe what someone told me. So it's like my philosophy is, again, just meeting students where they are, not making excuses for them, and trying to apply like, math to the real world. Like we use numbers every day. Every kid like money. Every kid, plays video games. Every kid has certain things that they do, and if you could find ways to connect that to, what you're teaching, instead of trying to be so traditional, if you find ways to really like, connect with them and connect your content to what they relate to, man, I find that it took me a long way. It really did. And also like building a relationship with them outside of your classroom. That was very key. Like me and Mr. Simmons, we actually like ran, well, it was us and a few others. We ran like SGA. Of course, we both coached. So we kind of just had like a different, connection with students. Like we can have a real conversation with our kids, and they know it's coming from love. It's like, hey, look, you keep doing what you're doing. We can name people that they know, like you keep doing what you're doing, you can end up,
Yep.
So yeah, that was my philosophy. Just keep it real with the kids and meet them where they were and try to help them get over that math anxiety, man.
That's it. Cause that's a struggle. Math
Man,
is like that's like a toothache.
man.
Everybody done been there. Everybody done had it. Everybody been hit differently with that toothache. Math. I got one child in my last school. I was in an inclusive setting. Every time I say, okay, guys, and it had to be ritual and routine every single day. We're about to start math. Take out your notebooks and put everything away. He will cuss me out. He done called me a SOB all my entire teaching career, teaching that joker. But you know what? That's okay, because I knew what he liked. He liked girls. He liked being fast. So everything dealing with math, I had to go whisper to him and make it kind of nasty just for him to focus on it. Let me tell you something. Folks don't realize, if you think that you about to just teach these children that's in the society right now, like you used to do us, order of operations, please excuse your dear Aunt Sally. If you think that right there is about to cut something, it ain't cutting nothing, baby. You got to get down with these kids and let them know what it is. Okay, look, you keep that up. Look, let me show you on the phone what your cousin just got locked up for not too long ago. Look at that. You see that? That's your cousin. That's gonna be you if you don't get together. But that's why I love teaching, because I love being real. I think back on some of the teachers and educators I had in my life, and they sugarcoated everything. But Miss Sharon Owens, honey, she kept it real. She kept it real. I stayed in ISS. I don't know if it's because I stayed in trouble or because she was so real that I connected with her. But she will always tell me, honey, you keep on. You keep on. Keep on. You different. You different. You're gonna be locked up. You keep it up. You keep it up. And she told me a couple of other things, but you know what? Hey, it made me the woman that I am today. Mr. Simmons, I'm going to be like Mr. Brooks. Mr. Simmons, please enlighten us on your teaching philosophy.
I loaded this question for like, since you sent me the list, and I'm more. I actually wrote a 5-page philosophy in grad school, and this is one of those things where I'm still trying to, with me still teach, I think I'm still trying to identify what my true philosophy is. Because like I said, I'm unorthodox. I relate. I go around and do what I need to do to reach each kid. What I would say, if I could say anything, I would say, I tell my teachers at the school I work at now, I just said I represent the unrepresented. And they look at me like they don't know what I'm talking about. They like, what this fool talking about? I'm like, nah, for real, I represent the kid that you gonna look past. Or do you want to teach honors English, Mr. Simmons? I'm like, I mean, nah, not really. Give me the worst. Give me the worst kids you got and put me in one classroom with the worst kids you got, and we're gonna come out on top. So my thing is, I'm real unorthodox. I switch up. Every year I go in and say, all right, this year I'm gonna be this teacher. And by the halfway through, I'm like, all right, let me go and try this out, and let me try this out. Let me try these type of resources. So I'm still working to figure out what my true philosophy is. I really just want to reach every kid. I want to be a positive impact. I haven't met a lot of kids that didn't like me. I think I had really more shape when I was in Plymouth, as far as like the kids were great, but I think because I was home, I had more pullback when it came to the kids. When I went to Maryland, they had 2,500 kids in the school. I went from having 300 students in the school to 2,500. They looking at me like, why your eyes so big? I'm like, I ain't never seen this many kids in the school before. This one kids in my college has. So I'm looking around, the kids love me. I'm dressing up, I wear my suit one day and I wear my street outfit the next day. I'm kind of, I get my kids by for real. A lot of my kids, and this is what they into, but a lot of my kids really respect me just based on how I dress. Just one day I can look like a teacher. one day they're like, wow, man, you know, I walked in school maybe after football season, after my football season this year, my kid had never seen me in a suit before. And he walked up to me, he was looking at me, he was like, I was like, why you looking at me? I call him Little Murder. I said, Little Murder, why you looking at me like that, Little Murder? He said, I ain't never seen you in a suit. All you wear is sweatpants and hoodies on the football field. And I was just letting them know, you know, that sometimes you gotta be unorthodox, you gotta switch it up, you know. I changed my look up because you know I just want to be able to look how I feel. So I feel good in a suit. I feel good in my street clothes. So to answer that question for the final time, I just think I got an unorthodox flow. I just try to switch it up. I never go in. And this year, actually, with teaching online, I think honestly, this has probably been the most organized I've been as a teacher. Like I'm organized, got my lessons out. I know what I want to teach. I know how I want to teach it. If something go bad, I can go on YouTube, give me a quick video. You know, I can use my Kahoots. I can use after school tutoring. So right now, you know, I'm just working it out, you know, but I do feel like with the online, you know, that's another topic, but I do feel like for real, since we were online, I feel like I was way more organized because I have to have everything right in your face for my hour and 10 minutes. And if I miss a second, I throw the whole class off because I don't see you again until Wednesday. And if I mess up on Wednesday, I don't see you again until Friday. So I gotta be real strategic when it comes to my teaching strategy right now. So yeah, I think that's my philosophy. I'm just unorthodox. I'm gonna reach the kids. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. You want to talk about music? You want to talk about shoes? You want me to coach football? Hey, I coach girls track too. I can coach girls track, so I just switch it up. So yeah, I think that would be my philosophy if I could sum that up pretty well.
Yeah, but and see, that's the thing. A lot of people feel like if you're doing your philosophy, me, when I did my philosophy paper, I was like, okay, I just gotta stick this one thing. What am I about? What do I do? I hated that paper because I feel like that all of me is too much to go on paper. And so with you writing all that paper, honey, woo child, that stressed me out. That's why I ain't no English teacher. I'm spared for a reason. I'm spared for a reason because that stressed me out. Every time it got time for me to write something, I'd be like, oh child, whoo, God. But thank God for Grammarly. If don't nobody else know, you hear me? Come on, somebody. That's heaven sent. When I joined this college and it was like at Grammarly, I was like, I'm not adding another extension to slow this thing down. It already moves slow. Honey, I be sitting anything to be just correcting it. Now it says perfect. No errors. What? Look at God. Look at me, Len Craddock. I learned something, right? Miss Vicky Livingston. She was my teacher back in the day. She probably don't remember me. I was bad. But she said, look at my guys. Y'all say hey to Miss Livingston.
Oh, yeah, Miss Livingston. Hey, that was definitely, she held us down, man.
Yeah, that's my girl. I actually worked with her and Miss Craddock. So Miss Craddock was we worked in the English department together. So I know Miss Craddock well, but Miss Livingston was my girl.
Yeah, she held us down, man. That
But that's
library, the media center, man. She, hey, I needed them iPads or iPods at the time. She made it. Hey, she made sure I was good. So shout out to Miss Livingston.
Shout out to Miss Livingston. Miss Livingston, you probably don't remember me, but that's good. God is good. We're gonna carry on because I was whoo child. Here we go.
She's a real big advocate for education, though. She front line, like she leaves school to really participate in things that's really pushing education forward. So she's more than just someone that works in the media center. She is very big on education.
But see, she was a teacher when I was coming up. She was my teacher.
I learned something new.
Now, if this is the same Vicky Livingston that I think it is, that was my teacher. I think in 4th grade. Some bad memories. Get back. Get back. I was something else. I'm sorry, Miss Vicky. I'm gonna go ahead and apologize for all that cussing and fussing that I did in your class. I'm so sorry. I apologize. I apologize for messing with Kim's crayon box. I apologize for messing with Andrew. Hey, look at me. This is a new me. Because the old Chanel wouldn't have, I would have took that to my grave. But see, educating children has changed me for me to say, I got to be a better role model, right? I got to look at things differently. Because I know I was on fire in her class. And I know she was like, well, child, I can't wait till she got my class. Miss Craddock thought the same thing. let's move along. Cause my girls, they keeping me up with my time, and I talk a lot, and then y'all talk a lot. So it's like they like y'all folks from Washington County talk. Man, don't y'all wish that we all would have been in the same high school? We wouldn't have graduated probably. They'd be like, no, all y'all, no pranks, senior skip day, all of that with Victon. Oh my goodness.
Hey, good times.
God, I was so skinny. Anyway, glory. So, what are the cons and the pros of being a Black man in education?
You want to take lead on that one?
I tell you, I say how I feel about it.
Keep it real.
I keep it as real as I can, because like I said, I've been the only Black male in the English department my whole career. So, I would say because I coach. All right, how do I want to start out with this? So because I coach football, first off, sometimes they see me for being a good football coach, but I'm a better English teacher. All right. So sometimes I gotta remind them, like, they're like, well, you doing good with the football team, blah, blah, blah. Y'all lost a couple years in a row, y'all winning this. I'm like, well, you see me in coaching, you think I'm doing a good job. I'm really a better English teacher. So I use my English and what I know to communicate and to, move forward. But a lot of times I think I get stereotyped, and I don't want to be wrong because it's just my thought process, but I think they just see me sometimes they see me as a football coach and they don't see me as an English teacher. So my thing as of lately, I thought to myself, like, well, what do I do, to get noticed? Because, I'm a Black English teacher. They doing staff shout outs every Friday. I'm like, well, I'm working with the kids, I'm mentoring, I'm tutoring, but I don't ever see my name on the staff shout out for doing nothing in the school. I'm doing SGA, I'm coaching football, I'm teaching English, I'm letting kids come to my classroom just to talk about anything. I'm helping them get into college. I'm doing a lot of stuff, and a lot of that stuff, I know it go over their head. They're like, well, I'm like, well, how y'all didn't notice? I got 8 of my students into Norfolk State last week. Nobody noticed that? Or I'm still working with Elizabeth City. I'm still trying to send kids to Elizabeth City, and the first thing they say is, oh yeah, you had a good football season. I'm like, no, I had a good English season. I had a good mentoring season. I had a good tutoring season. So I think the biggest thing con-wise is that I think they go over my head with my ability to be a good teacher. I think they just see me and they just think, all right, this African-American man is teaching, what he really doing in his classroom. And sometimes I'm not gonna point fingers, but I'm in a different school setting, So a lot of times they come in, they're like, what you doing there? I'm like, girl, I'm teaching, blah, blah, blah. Psh, this is what I'm doing, my PowerPoint, my video. They're like, well, you make it seem so simple, and the kids, do they really listen to you? And I'm like, yeah, they listen to me. I had 60 kids, I said 55 kids turning their work today. Well, how did you do that? I'm like, well, what are you doing in your classroom? You supposed to be highly effective.
Yeah.
I'm just keeping it. I mean, I'm having fun. I'm regular. I don't feel like I'm doing too much. I base my time out. I try to, do stuff that's gonna catch their attention. But yeah, I would say the con is that I think I get overlooked for being I'm gonna say I'm a star. I want to be like the teacher of the year. And I don't know how in my career, I don't know what school I gotta go to for me to be the teacher of the year, but I've been like 0-3.
Right.
And I've been doing everything. So I don't really care about the title. It's not really about, getting that, but it is like when you see your boy Michael Bonner, we had classes with Mike Bonner. I'm like, well, my boy Bonner he on Ellen. My boy get a chance to smile at Ellen a couple times, and my boy get a chance to write a book, and they gave his school somewhere. And I'm like, well, I'm doing all that same stuff, and I don't really get the look. Not that I want the extra attention, but it would be like nice every once in a while for somebody to be like, all right, Mr. Simmons, you highly effective, blah, blah, blah. The kids love you. You mentoring, you tutoring, you got your step team, you coaching. But they just see me as like, sometimes I'm just seen for like being a coach. Yeah. Or I don't want to say average Black guy. I just want to say that, sometimes they just see me, they look over my head, man, for real. And it's like my 9th year teaching. It's been the same in Prince George County, it was a little bit different, but in Prince Williams County, they definitely look at me like, he's regular, and I'm not. I'm way beyond that. I do beyond work. I'm doing college stuff. I'm teaching ninth grade. I'm teaching 12th grade. And what the question? It was a pro. It was a
Yeah,
pros too.
yeah,
Pros.
pros.
Yeah, the pros is just. I mean, you see what you get.
Killing them over there, but you got some cons.
Hey, this is what you get when it comes to the pros. So, I mean,
Right.
I just you get the pros part. I don't think I got to explain that too much.
Yeah, but that's real. Go ahead, Dwayne, before I say something.
Oh no, I agree though. I mean, being a math teacher, or a young black male in the math classroom, I definitely understand where you're coming from. And of course, being a male in general, you're if a young man is giving a teacher, trouble, they're going to come to you first to kind of talk to them, and so yeah, so of course you're the go-to, you're the problem solver, you're the enforcer, but you have to also still maintain a good relationship with your students. Like, so I don't know, you get additional roles as a male teacher. Of course, I don't know, like I don't want to get too much to the cons. I think Simmons, he kind of laid out the cons pretty well. Pros, you know, if you like being a mentor or a leader, being a black male teacher, like you definitely wear that role on your sleeve. I enjoy, students feeling like they could come to me and ask me the hard questions. Um, and again, being young at the time, like Simmons said, we was probably about 22, maybe, teaching. So man, like the stuff we literally just was in school talking about Thirsty Thursday, and
Yes, sir.
and you gotta transform into a adult, like a responsible adult overnight. So that really helped me out a lot, because that's not easy. It take a little while to get out of that college phase. And one last thing I'll say is, being a teacher, always being around young people, man, it really keeps you motivated as a person. So like, when you become an adult, all of your responsibilities start to become, a burden, or I don't know. It's just it's like when you're young, you still see yourself being able to do anything in the world, you know. And when you become an adult, you start losing a little bit of that drive. So being around kids on a daily basis, it kind of sparks that right back up. So
Right.
yeah, that's what I'll say.
Wow. Well, I'm not even going to talk about the pros and the cons, because hello, that's why we're having this conversation tonight. Because it's so many times that our male educators are not recognized for what they truly do. Coach Rogers, I see my mama tagged him up here. He was only seen as just a coach, but he was so much more than a coach. He was a daddy to a lot of girls and boys that didn't have a daddy. He was that man that I saw in church, that I saw in the store, that I saw in the schoolhouse. So I didn't always just see him as a coach, but everyone else only saw him as a coach. They only felt like he was only good for doing sports stuff. No, that was a whole man who had so much more going on in that classroom, despite what other people may think. He was still a role model. And that's the saddening part. That hurts, because how am I supposed to motivate my brothers to stay in education when they can't even get recognized for what they do? Now, if you was doing your job, Mr. Simmons, only doing English, they'd be like, he's no good. All he does is teach English. What's his name? Saunders? I don't know his name. But you out there doing all you can do and still don't get recognized. Honey, I felt that. Because that's why when I transitioned from where I was to Virginia, I felt that I was seen. I felt that I was more than, and even though I'm still I'm a teacher clown. Yeah, I'm a teacher clown. And I felt like that in Columbia that they didn't take me serious. Shout out to Columbia, because I still love y'all, but I felt like they didn't take me serious. I felt that they thought that I know how to isolate my feelings, and I know when to be serious and when to be funny. And sometimes when I was being very serious, people would just start laughing, and I'm like, "What the joke at?" I was for real. That was some legit stuff that came out. That wasn't funny. Ha ha, what? That wasn't funny. So I understand where you feel like that people are looking at you differently when that's not even what you're doing. They don't see the true mission that you're doing. So if they don't give you your flowers, I'm giving you your flowers. And that's why I wanted you guys to be up here, because in spite of what others may think, I know that you guys have transitioned into great gentlemen. And I just wish and you want to be a principal, honey. I thought about being a principal too, but I ain't going back to school. So if you become a principal, then I can work at your school. And can you imagine all of us in one building? And I could bring these lovely ladies from all the different states they are in, and we just take over. It'd be like a takeover. Everybody want to be at our school. I'm still thinking about what the mascot will be. But anywho, that's another day and another time. All right, because I'll keep on talking. Last question, because we done been up here for 47 minutes, guys. It don't feel like it, does it? Or it do? I don't know. That's how it is for church. Church be going on for 5 hours. They'll be like, it's long. I'll be like, well, I just got here. Based on your experience, what impact can a Black male educator have on students? You guys have really answered that question throughout the whole evening. So, I mean, do any of my ladies, unless did y'all have an answer, Mr. Simmons, that you have then thoughtfully processed and said, I'm going to say this? You're an English teacher, bro. I'm like, what? I'm scared of you. I'm scared of you. And when Brooks was doing accounting, I was like, okay, because didn't you major in accounting first?
Nah, I mean, I started off with math straight off the dribble.
I love math, but I won't about to teach it. And I wasn't even trying to teach. I was trying to get I don't even remember what degree I was. Oh, I was trying to do education. But then I changed up. My bad. I started out education, and then I had to take that test, and I got very nervous, and I just got scared.
I think that just kind of shows where we come from, though. You don't really know like what you can do. I
Yeah.
mean, Plymouth, all you really see is people work at the successful people you see work at warehouse.
Yep.
You see in education, and other than you don't know firsthand, like it's entrepreneurs all around Plymouth that you just don't know. You don't know it. It's not really highlighted. So education is kind of like it's what you see. So
Right. Do my ladies have any questions? Do y'all have anything y'all would like to say on this evening? Anything? Okay, guys. So we are at the end of tonight. First, let me say I thank each and every one of you for being on with us tonight. I've seen that number hit some heights on this evening. Hallelujah. Thank you, God. I thank my brothers for coming on. I thank my sisters for being here and backing us up. Guys, stay tuned. We have more to come. We have some more of my Viking Pride family coming on board. You don't want to miss it. May is the month of mental health awareness. So I'm coming at you with some more speakers. I'm coming at you raw. That's it. All we're going to talk about is the truth. We ain't sugarcoating nothing. All right. Because everybody got enough cavities as it is. All right. All right. We thank y'all. Y'all get ready pretty soon. You're going to see a video that's about to drop. I think it dropped. Well, no, it ain't dropped yet. I got to put it up there. But you're going to see a post about our raffle. Our upcoming raffle for May would be 2 services that were of courtesy of Uptown Styles and Salon over in little old Crestwell. Y'all ain't know, but Crestwell coming up now that I'm gone. Now that half of the community gone, ain't nobody there now. Now they about to put a store there. What? Let me hit the lotto, guys. I'm going to give y'all everything y'all need. A gas station and a laundromat and another daycare. All right? Okay. We love y'all. We thank you. I'm going to go ahead and close out. Y'all stay on now. Don't be like my students. I hit in and then y'all just be, okay? We love y'all. We thank you. Nothing but love and support is in the chat. Y'all know my mama all up there. Miss Tamara Ryan, awesome. I enjoyed tuning in. Thank you, Miss Ryan. Thanks, Jasmine Sproul. Oh, thank you, guys. They said thank you for all that you do. See, y'all got y'all flowers, some of them. Y'all have a good evening. Bye. Do your little wave. Guys, y'all,